record now. All right. So I think we are officially starting. So this is the very first Kragg conference. We're starting out. So. Oh, okay. It all. Wait. I forgot. If I click on anything else on Discord, it all gets. Hold on. Let me get my phone. I can't click on anything on Discord because of the way I set this up. Alright, so I guess we'll just start out. We'll just give some introductions, and then we're gonna have three main things we're gonna get into. We're gonna talk about Orcane. This is the Orcane themed episode, so we're gonna change this text real quick. So we're going to talk about the Orcane matchup a bit, then we're going to answer some questions, and then we might watch some footage if that works out. That might not work out because I don't have that set up right now on our stream, but alright. So first we'll start Guthix. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Alright, so I guess just introduce yourself. Like, where do you come from?
Hello.
You know, what?
Yep. I'm from the UK. I play Kragg. I was Ethereum last ranked season. Have some decent results in Europe. We'll be heading to Supernova for my first out of continent tournament, so I'm excited for that one.
Oh, that'll be
hopefully I can show some EU skill. I guess technically Europe skill rather than EU skill, since UK is not in the EU, but
yeah. So what game are you from before this?
So I've mostly played Smash Ultimate. I played Sonic in that game. I was like a mid-level Sonic pretty much the entire time, and I had like 300 to 400 hours in Rivals 1, mostly playing Kragg, but also a little bit of Shovel Knight. Pretty much started competing in Rivals 1 roughly around the start of 2024.
I got
So
you.
I'm actually relatively new, like in terms of proper competitive Kragg gameplay, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you hit Ethereum on the EU ladder, so you came up.
Well, not just
quick.
the EU ladder. I was playing sets on UARC as well.
Oh, on the NA. Oh, on the NA. Oh, yeah. Cause I remember you posted that on Twitter. You kept
I like
running
to
into
keep
B-bets.
Oh yeah, you saw the video.
Yeah, that's pretty sick though. It'll be cool to see what you do at Supernova. All right, so Malk, you do the same.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Malk. I'm from MDVA, specifically Maryland. I've been playing platform fighters competitively for the past 11 and a half years. Started as a melee player.
Oh crap!
Oh, what the?
Crap! I joined.
Where's the oh, prior to Rivals 2 coming out, I was primarily a PM player. But I dabbled in Rivals 1 across its entire life. The reason I play Kragg is because I played Rivals 1 before it came out at the very first SmashCon, and I thought Absa was really cool. But Absa was not part of the launch roster, so I picked Kragg because he could jump cancel side B on hit. I've been PR'd in Rivals 1, which was very funny. But I've never really been much of a Rivals player. I was waiting for Rivals 2.
I hit on my phone on accident. I connected, and I'm struggling right now. I'm really struggling right now. But we're gonna. Okay, so keep going.
Yeah, I'm not ranked anywhere for Rivals 2 yet. I don't really play much ranked, but I've entered a few online tournaments. Done a few smaller events. But the biggest event I've been at is Hitfall, the last Hitfall, where I got 9th. But I've got wins over. I have a win over Ant, Torna, Gengar. Some of the ones off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's pretty good. No, I remember seeing your Hitfall run. You also played at. Did you play at the other Hitfall? The one
Yes,
before
I got
that, you got third, if I remember.
I got third. Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. That was very. Who'd you beat in that run?
Let's see. I beat Elkies and MSB were the main ones.
Elkies is a really good win because she top
That was yeah, that was
Genesis.
that was pre-release, but
Oh,
I'm
okay.
happy with that. Yeah, that was in.
Oh wait.
September.
Wait, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, Zeus got is here. Do we get him in like halfway through? We just shove him
Yeah,
in
I
there?
mean,
I guess so.
if he wants to.
Okay, hold on. I'll invite him to speak.
Hi,
Hey
Zeus.
Zeus.
Hey Zeus.
Hello.
We're doing the first. This is we're doing it, but we did no setup or anything, and we're really winging it right now. So
Oh.
it's gonna be great. So we'll go ahead and we'll get you in there. Okay,
It's okay. I'll just be here for like 5 seconds. Don't worry.
Okay, I give up on these Discord streams. They're not working at all. I'm gonna just use Discord PNG grabbers.
Yeah, that works better.
Okay, but anyway, so Malk gave his full thing, so I guess that I will now give my introduction. So I am a NASB 2 player originally. That was what I came from. I also played Rivals 1. I actually won the Rivals Recess Invitational for Rivals 1, which was pretty cool. And I played like 300 hours or something, but I mostly got into Rivals 1 because I was interested in Rivals 2, like getting into Rivals 2 competitively. So I picked up Rivals 2 during the betas. I got into it very, very early, and I've been playing for ever since the very first public betas, first backer betas, and I've gotten some decent results. I hit Ethereum last season. I did some good, got some top 8s and some top 3s and some online tournaments. I got like 33rd at one of the $100 tournaments, although that was definitely a while ago. And I don't have, and I've gone to 2 offline brackets. The first one I went to, I got 17th, which was at Plat Fight, which is down in Florida. And I just recently top 8'd Patchwork. I went, that was in Raleigh. There's about 45 people. I actually had to DQ because they made it day 2, like without letting me know. Like they did not tell me it was, or they changed the schedule after I'd already registered. So I had to DQ out of the day 2, and top 8 was on day 2. So I didn't get to play top 8, but I made it to top 8, and I don't know. Maybe I could have gone farther. It would have been pretty cool. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the full background for the 3 of us. So we're gonna bring up the first thing. So this is the Orcane episode, and we were originally supposed to bring in Remerin, but she was too busy getting 4th place at Gommel. So we're going to just talk about it in general. So I guess, do we want to pull up the questions, like the questions that people pitched in first, or do we just I guess we'll just start off just like, how do you feel about Orcane, just in the meta in general, and in the Kragg matchup, and I'll just go around again. So we'll start with you, Gothix.
St. Pat's asking to be brought in, by the way. I just received a DM.
Oh, all right. We got to get him in. All right. All right, St. Pat's in here. So I don't.
Hey, what's up?
I don't think you get an introduction because we
That's
gotta
fine.
keep it moving.
Nope,
But
keep it moving. You're good.
For next episode, we'll put it in consideration. I'm trying
Next
to
time.
talk while doing these super hard captchas for the Discord PFP image pooler, so I'm trying to.
It's fine.
I'm trying to multitask right now.
You're
All
good,
right,
dude.
so
You are good.
we'll start with Gothics and just. So, how do you feel both about Orcane, just in the general like balance of the game, and how do you feel about that matchup right now?
Orcane's really, really strong. The gravity changes, I don't know if it's necessarily that, but they seem to have benefited him quite a bit. He has a lot of really strong kill confirms. If he doesn't have Puddle, we need to be terrified of Dare on like 120 in pretty much every stage, because he's got like Dare up B or Dare into just Imagination. If we're ever recovering from below Orcane, it's kind of hell, because if we have a pillar, Orcane gets down air into grab and to throw us off the pillar, and we kind of just die. There's like a million cases we can die, so we have to mix up our recoveries extremely well. There are some edge guards that we can do on Orcane that I don't see a lot of Kraggs go for. Like if we ever can catch them side being to the wall or to the ledge, we can actually jump in, turn around, cargo throw, down toss. And that forces, that brings us back to the ledge or above them, and it forces them to either have to Orca hop or teleport. And if their Puddle is within reaching range, we can actually punish them for that. Otherwise, we can play the mix-up around ledge. And if they're high enough percent, they will just die, because you can't tech the wall if you're low enough down anyway. But yeah, there's stuff that we have, but it's really hard. They definitely out neutral us, and yeah, we just have to make advantage of it a lot. We do also have like a lot of reversal opportunities with floor hugging and CC, and being able to counterplay bubbles, I think, is extremely important.
Yeah, I don't really. This is something that I definitely need to do more of. Is the down throw, cargo down throw, down toss, because they nerf stuff like that. So I usually just try to get I just try to forward throw, or I just try to just chuck them farther off stage. But Orcane can recover from just about anywhere. So I did remember seeing one of the clips. I remember seeing one of your Twitter clips. You did something.
I would
like
say
that.
cargo down throw is our saving grace in the matchup. It does a lot of work. It is a very good win con for us. We have a lot of ways to combo into it because of Orcane's fall speed and him being fairly wide. And it kills him really well, and that's something I say Kragg and most characters kind of struggle against with Orcane. He's a great recovery. Really high survivability overall, and cargo down throw is a really good way to circumvent that.
Yep. All right, St. Pat, you got any input that you want to add on?
Yeah, I think that Orcane is a tough matchup for Kragg. I feel like it always has been, and then it's just gotten worse over time with the changes. It's just impossible to fully cover and all of Orcane's options off stage, right? If they have a Puddle, you can't cover both options. So it's sort of at best a coin flip on edge guard, and then with our reduced air movement speed now, it's a lot harder to, like you said, get in on neutral. Yeah, I've always down air is a good tool against Orcane, because they like to stay grounded and go for those floor hugs and down tilts. So I feel like I get good mix up on down air, rock toss down air mix ups are really nice. But I suck at floor hugging bubbles.
Floor hugging bubbles is pretty hard.
Trying to floor hug and parry, when you do the
You have to CC the bubbles if you want to parry them.
Yeah.
As far as I know, you can't just floor hug them. It's not going to work.
I remember I was playing against I don't remember who I was playing against. It was an Orcane player. I don't remember their name, but I was just playing friendlies, and I was I was trying to wave land onto this, or ledge dash. I'm trying to ledge dash onto the stage, and then CC parry the bubbles, because they kept doing the thing. They kept putting the Puddle on the edge on the ledge, and then just popping the bubbles over and over again. But like I was struggling to do that, and someone else labbed it, and it was kind of specific. I remember it was kind of finicky how you had to do it. So you have to. So you said you have
Like
to
it's not
CC
always.
it.
You can't always get it.
I don't. So I like I said, I probably have to double check, do more of my own research, because I was talking to someone else about it, and they labbed it for me. Like I asked them, I'm like, oh, can you do this? Like, does it work? And they were like, and they told me that they originally thought it didn't work, and then they eventually got it to work, and I don't know how they got it to work, but I do know that it's tight. Like it's very tight in order to hit the CC parry off of the ledge dash when you're trying to. Because you're basically trying to tank one of the bubble hits and then parry afterwards.
Right.
So you can, so that you can just not get ledge guarded by bubbles all day.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It's really hard to do. I generally just try and time my off ledge options so that I don't have to deal with bubble at all. Just kind of wait for him to burn it, because he can't really do a whole lot if he burns it. Like he can't immediately punish you for just holding ledge. So I try to do that, or just like ledge jump around it. It's definitely a thing that's possible, not very consistent.
Yeah.
I generally against Orcane try to recover high. I try to avoid ledge as much as possible against Orcane, because one, having to like be in a position where you have to go for ledge is very scary, because Orcane edge guards Kragg really hard. Shouts to Nair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can drop from ledge Nair, regrab fully invincibly. So I just try to recover high generally against Orcane to be not in that situation. But if I am, I just try and be patient around it, because there's not a whole lot you can really do about bubble at ledge.
Yeah. On that note, Orcane and Fleet are like the two characters that can go like super deep. You know, if you pillar out way out in the corner in the bubble.
Mm.
So you're right about having to go high against him, but then you really have to mix it up with like side Bs and your saving your double jump and your dodge, because Orcane will just go out there and break your pillar. And they can hang out, and they can go deep, and they can go back with puddle. So you really have to like bait it out.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's definitely the aspect of the matchup I think Orcane does the best about versus Kragg. Is Orcane is one of the most capable characters at consistently killing Kragg off stage. Like him and Fleet are the two characters that really.
And Edalus. And you include him in that. That character is stupid. That character is
At least we
actually.
At least we mess Atlas up in return. Like at least.
Well, yeah.
Atlas is combo food, and you can 0 to death Atlas as hard as he can to you.
Literally every single time he touches you, it doesn't matter if it's center stage. It's a 50-50 like dice roll that you are dead because he can just up air you or
For sure.
or just because the up air is crazy because you can't tech off the wall when he goes right on the and he hugs the wall
Right.
and then he up airs you and you die.
You can, right?
You can now.
You can take the wall.
They nerfed that. You can now.
Yeah.
You can.
So it's. I don't think it's really that bad, and unless we're like high percent getting grabbed off the platform on Hodojo or something and just straight up dying to the up air, it's actually quite easy to live. If they throw icicles straight after, I know this is meant to be like an Orcane episode, but we can just like wait to get hit by the side B, and if they haven't already chased us with an aerial, then we can pillar.
You wait.
And if we ever get a chance to parry icicle while on pillar, it disables all the icicles, and then we get to stage for free.
And he does get a really long like animation when you parry. That is definitely one of the things. I was watching the ZB set today. The ZB Gommel. He was playing bullets, and there was actually one time I remember they were on Harbor, and ZB recovered super low. He was playing against Edalus, and Edalus fired the shards, and he pillared right away, and I think he got hit by the shards like while he was pillaring, and then he died. And I was thinking about that because what you could do is you could get hit by the shards. you air dodge up and then you pillar, or just like he was really deep, so I think he needed to air dodge. But sometimes like you don't need to air dodge, and then if they shoot shards again, then you parry, or if if they're scared, then you can just like start making your way back to the ledge.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a mini game recovering against Edalus in the matchup of guess when he's going to use icicles.
Yeah,
Sure.
but anyway.
Yeah, it's not as hopeless as it might seem, for sure.
So I guess pivoting back. So we were originally talking. Yeah, we were talking about Orcane's one of the characters that can really edge guard Kragg. So I guess like what I'm just kind of thinking about my last experiences, like playing against like some good Orcane players. Yeah, I think that character just scraps and just really can just scrap with Kragg and make it very, very difficult. Or he's just one of the best characters at scrapping in the game, like period.
Yeah.
So in those close range, situations where they're just pressing buttons on you, that's very tricky. So I feel like what I found when I was like playing in friendlies was that the best success for me came when I was trying to use rock. Basically just trying to play more around rock, use rock for neutral, use it more for pressure, use it more to sort of intercept whatever the Orcane's trying to do. Because some matchups, certain characters can like really, really just. It's very hard to use rock against them. I mean, rock is good on every character, but like some characters like Maple.
I
They just nullify it a bit better.
Yeah, they definitely can
They
really
get
nullify
boxes.
it. I think Orcane's like long, and Orcane like, a lot of what Orcane is trying to go for in neutral, you can, rock is good at covering a lot of those options. Yeah, so that was kind of the main thing that I wanted to add on, is that I think it's a very like rock is important in every matchup, but I think Orcane is definitely one of the matchups where rock is more like crucial to just playing the overall neutral game, and just being able
Nair
to deal
beats
with
rock,
that
right?
character.
Orcane Nair.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yep.
So like
That's
I
definitely
mean,
something you gotta look out for.
with every character, like they can just throw a hitbox in your face and and hit you, and every character in the game can do that. But or like most of them can. But I definitely think it's important for dealing with the scrap fest and just being able to deal with, when you're under pressure, because it allows you, because you don't really want to scrap with Orcane, because if you try to just like directly scrap and just fight Orcane with your aerials or your tilts, Orcane, he's just gonna win in those situations, because he's just got faster buttons, and he's just really good at converting off of his stuff, and he's got really, really good pressure. So I think it's definitely.
I think something to add to that, I think something you also have to be careful about with Orcane is jumping out of shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, Orcane's amazing at punishing
really,
jump.
Yeah, they really punish you for pushing jump, especially with that up tilt.
Yeah.
So you gotta get that good at like that perfect shielding and letting go, or like wave dashing out of shield.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a Zetter shield pressure thing. Not to the extent of how Zetter does it, but it's a thing where you have to just know when he's going to commit to something, because he can't press on your shield forever. So I just wait for him to do something that's more committal on shield during his pressure.
Right. Spam that up tilt or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because definitely, like, sometimes they give you certain gaps, but really, like, it's...
Yeah, you just have to wait your turn.
Yeah, but, like, sometimes you don't want to jump, you want to wave dash and get out of there, and I think sometimes it's just good to reset the situation so that you don't... Because you nair out of shield, you get shielded, and then that character just blows you up. And sometimes it's just good to get out of there, because I definitely think, when you're at a little bit of a further range. Now, I think Kragg definitely wins when you just are both tossing crap at each other. Like, they're just tossing bubbles and you're just tossing rock. with shards and with just rocks, just general ability to, the amount of stuff you can do with it in neutral. I definitely think he wins in those like situations. So when you kind of force an Orcane player where it's like, okay, you cannot just camp me out with bubbles, you got to do something. I think that's a big part of just being able to play neutral into this character.
Yeah, I think Kragg wants to play mid range a lot in this matchup. But keeping out with like staying outside of like scrapping range, but not like playing full stage. I think
I actually feel a little bit different than that. I feel like Kragg wants two distances. You want to be far enough away to pull block without getting punished.
right.
And then you want to be right on his face. And you don't want to be in range. You don't want to be in that mid range where you can get like just droplet spammed into bubbled constantly, or where they can just kind of like shield slide in on you, or do any of their million movement techs that Orcane has.
I guess when you're pulling rock, you want to be as far as possible. Like when you pull
Right.
rock,
Right.
you want your space to pull rock, and then I think once you have the rock, then you kind of get in more, and you don't want to be in scrap range, but that's where you want to be more in the range where like you can do neutral toss and it'll hit them, and then once you're in neutral toss range, then you can neutral toss, you can forward toss, you can down toss, and then do shards
Right.
or so, and then that's what makes the matchup a bit scarier because he doesn't have disjoints and he doesn't have like a projectile he can fire at you or something. So he kind of that's the situations where it's like, okay, the Orcane's either has to go in, which means like they could get sharded, or they could you could do, or you could jump and then throw the rock down, or they got to escape and try and like make their own space. And of course, if you're playing like center stage, you can corner them, you can nair the rock, do nair shards. So yeah,
Orcane's not good in the air in general. So like if you can get Orcane in the air,
especially if you can just get that, just get some up air chains going.
yeah, down tilt, up air, up throw onto a platform into like an up air, or like into like a back couple hits of the neutral air. Like you got to figure out the routes into winning the neutral, which is like the rock game, and then getting them into the air, which is like down airs, up throws, up tilts from jabs, dash attacks into up tilts if they don't floor hug it.
Right. I mean, when I say mid-range, I mostly mean like kind of like slightly outside of droplet range.
Mhm.
Because rock can just beat like a bad droplet, like if they shoot droplet.
Yeah.
And that's their like you said, it's an option they want to go for a lot to start setting stuff up.
Right.
And then from there you can also convert off of rock situations a lot better.
And then I think it's important to get a parry on a droplet or two.
Yeah,
then it makes them more careful about droplets.
Pairing droplet is just, something I struggle to keep on the mental stack sometimes.
Right.
Yeah,
you can also hit the droplet too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can just erase it.
And it's a good way of keeping the puddle away if they don't already have a puddle out.
I said earlier, he doesn't have a project. No, he does have a projectile. Like
basically laser.
I brain farted on that, but like you know what I mean is like he doesn't have a Zetter fireball. He doesn't have like just something he throw the puddle. What's good about that is that you can just beat that out easily with rock and you can react to it. So
even dash attack sometimes I'll use if I think they're gonna droplet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess do we want to like go ahead and did anyone want to add anything else on, or do we want to go ahead and pull up some of these questions?
I will say I think neutral's not that bad in the matchup, personally. Okay.
Yeah,
I think it can be very scary sometimes. But I think Kragg can put himself in a lot of position. Kragg's really good at playing in positions that are like kind of awkward for Orcane to cover. Like diagonals are pretty awkward for Orcane to cover.
Hard being
I-
below Orcane too.
Yeah. My I just want to say I think this matchup is only like slightly losing, or it's not that bad.
You think it's
It's not as
you
bad
think
as
it's
CP made it look.
you think it's Cragg's only losing matchup?
No, I think
Oh.
Maple is our worst matchup.
Oh,
Hmm.
I think that's our worst matchup. I think this is like a fine matchup. It's losing. It's very doable though.
yeah. I think personally, I think Edalus is a slight losing matchup. I don't like that character. I don't
It feels like
I
it
don't
now.
think Atlas is losing.
I can-
I think
I can-
Atlas is winning.
Yeah,
see it.
Edalus
I
is-
don't have-
Edalus wins. Were you gonna
No,
say?
Guthix, you were saying that you think Kragg wins the Edalus matchup, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
I'm not sure how to feel about it yet.
we'll save
I want to
it.
play some like American top Atlases.
We'll save it
I-
for. Wait. Were you gonna add something on?
I was just gonna say I have no experience in the matchup, so I have no comment on it. You should play Spades.
Yeah.
I played,
Spades.
you know, honestly, Spades is my most recent Edalus experience, and yeah, I took some games for sure, but he was fucking me up.
Really?
Spades
Okay.
and, Spades and Animal are the two.
Spades is
that I
really
want.
good. I play Animal. Last time I played Animal, I went pretty even, so it was a little bit better.
I found Animal's like practice partner on ranked on the American server, and it didn't feel that bad. But I don't know
Who's Animal's
how
practice
necessarily they
partner?
compare.
Was that
I think it was
BBAS? Is that
somebody
your
called,
video?
like- I think it was somebody called like Adam or something.
Adam.
Oh, Adam.
I'm not
Adam.
familiar.
Adam
Mm-mm.
used to be a Kragg player, and then he swapped to Edalus.
Oh, right. I see.
But yeah, no, I've played Spades and Animal, and I also played against Piggy G's Edalus recently, and yeah, I'm not gonna get like super in depth because
Right.
we could probably do an Edalus episode next, but I was just gonna say that the thing about it is I think previously, right, before all the Edalus buffs, Kragg won the matchup because it was like I think Kragg is better in neutral because I think Rock plus like all of the just super active frame aerials he has are good at intercepting like Edalus dash attack and stuff. So I think Kragg wins the neutral game, and I think previously it was like, okay, Edalus cooks Kragg, but Kragg, cooks Edalus. But I think with all of Edalus's recovery buffs, Edalus still completely like cooks Kragg off stage, in my opinion, and I think he is a lot more explosive than Kragg is now, versus where Kragg edge guards him, and it's like it's a lot tougher now because of all the recovery
The marathon.
buffs that Edalus has gotten. But like I said, we could probably do Edalus as our next conference because I definitely have a lot to talk about. So, I guess we could just start with the question requests, like the channel. We had a forum and like a channel on the Discord. So I'll start with a question, and then I guess all of everyone else, you guys can all pick a question like after. But I'll start with one. So, the very first one is, what is the best way of edgeguarding Orcane at ledge? And what if he has a puddle on the other side of the stage, or what if the puddle is on the same side of the stage as both of you? So,
I think Guthix is probably
Yeah.
the person who brought the best answer to that, which is the cargo thing.
The cargo grab
The
on the
edge
side
guarding
beam.
walking at ledge. Yeah. So yeah,
Exactly.
you can cover side B to ledge with cargo. It does take a bit of practice, but once you've got it down, it's like reasonably consistent. And then if he's not teleporting to ledge, then it's like a normal edge guard. You can just hit him, right? If he makes it to the wall, then you want to like grab ledge, read his wall jump timing. I don't know, drop down back air. If he DIs in, down B, something like that. If he DIs out, just reset the situation. If he teleports to puddle, just make sure that puddle's in a position where you're able to cover it. Otherwise, it might just be like he gets back, we reset neutral, and that's how it is. Orcane's disadvantage is extremely good because he's got that option. You can kind of treat puddle as like a second health bar. If you're able to close the distance between you and Orcane and reset neutral close to him, once he's had to teleport to puddle, then if you can create another advantage state and get him off stage again, then he won't have puddle for it, possibly, if you're able to cover that. Otherwise, eventually Orcane will get to a percent where he just dies to something from on stage anyway. So yeah, edge guarding's tough because of puddle, but there's kind of play.
Basically, I to answer the question, like if he has puddle on the other side of the stage, you don't edge guard him, or you mean you
It's
do.
never true.
You do,
Yeah.
but if it's on the other side of the stage, you can't be in two places at once. The only like thing I can think of is if you just have like the nastiest read ever, and you just perfectly time like the puddle's on the other side of the stage, and then maybe if you're on a little bit of a smaller stage, you can act like you're gonna ledge hog or like you're gonna go cargo them or do whatever, and then then you start walking back towards the puddle, and if they don't react in time, then sometimes that's a way you can sort of catch them. You can kind of fake them out, but that's the only thing. Oh, you want to add something on?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna add to that and just basically say, yeah, I think you got to make sure you're maintaining stage control, and then try to hit them with some block shenanigans.
Yeah, and that's also another thing is just having Rock in a position to where it's like, at the very least, if they teleport to puddle, you can throw a rock at them and hit them, and then that'll allow you to at least get one hit on them. If it's like on the other side of the stage, and there's no other really good way you can contest it. Okay, so we'll go. I'll just pick Malk, and you just go into the question requests or like the form if you have it up.
I do not have the form up.
Okay, so just pull something out of a question request that you think would be a good question.
I think stage preferences. I think you want generally like mid-sized stages versus Orcane. I think those are generally pretty good. I was talking about it briefly in Gommel chat after the first set of ZB versus Remorin yesterday. Heavily disagreeing with ZB stage picks.
Yeah,
I would say, in starters, the stages I generally like the most are ideally Godai. I think is very good. Godai, Jules Vale. I'm not sure how I feel about Hodojo. Hodojo I'm kind of mixed on. I think it can be very good, generally.
Oh, can I bring up a point of contention about Godai?
Yeah, sure.
I think that long stages are bad against Orcane because they make edge guarding harder.
Yeah.
And Godai is like the longest neutral stage, except for Port.
Yeah.
So I think Forest is much better than Godai.
I think Forest is personally our worst.
Yeah, I don't
really
small stages.
I would say small stages are definitely where we're at our worst versus Orcane because
why?
Because you don't get
lets
rock.
You don't get rock.
True.
It gives Orcane better opportunities to start playing close range and scrapping with you where he's really good. The one good thing about Forest, I would say, is it has a very low bottom blast zone, and my general thought on win cons versus Orcane, like one of our big ones is cargo down throw. I think that's a very, very good way to kill Orcane reliably. I think that's another reason Godai is pretty good, is because the bottom blast zone is relatively close.
Okay.
And I think, when in doubt, there's always rock wall is always good. I think in every single matchup.
Yeah.
Rock wall is good, yeah.
You always
Rock,
go
rock
wall.
Orcane is no exception. Just playing the platforms against Orcane on that stage is very strong.
And you also just like forward air people and they just die. They just explode out of existence.
Yeah, so I mean that's why I like the smaller stages against Orcane is I think scrapping against Orcane is good. Like I know he has good scrap tools, but we also have good scrap tools in jab and down tilt.
I mean,
My main issue with Forest is that if we're ever off stage, we're pretty much guaranteed dead,
Sure.
because the blast zone is so close to the wall. In other stages, we do at least have a chance if we're able to force them to burn their resources by mixing up with the space that we've got. In in Forest, we don't have the space to be able to survive just a string of nairs, basically.
I would also say Puddle covers a much larger amount of the stage than any other stage, because as far as I know, Forest is the thinnest stage.
It is the smallest stage, yeah.
And I think that is pretty scary against Orcane. Puddle, very good.
You guys would prefer longer stages, even though it gives him the advantage on recovery positioning?
Well, no, you don't want the longest stages in the game. I mean,
Yeah,
we saw that
medium
against what ZB did. Like, ZB kept picking the biggest stages.
I generally think it's more that you want, like, not the longer stages, but, like, somewhere in between. And
you want the shallow sides, I feel.
Yeah.
I think
So
we want,
Orcane dies earlier.
I think we want wider sides, and I think we want to kill off the bottom, or off the strong hit.
I would agree with that. Like I said, I think cargo down throw is a very big, like, win con, a really strong win con in the match.
Sure.
But
we die off the side like way easier than
you
we
like
die
go.
off
So you like go die for that reason. It has a high bottom and a wide side.
Yeah. I would also agree with Guthix about wide sides being pretty important. It gives us also a lot more room to recover. Not just getting nuked off the side, but being able to just I guess, surviving longer and being able to like, what am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought.
Well, yeah, because what you guys are getting at is that Orcane gets a lot more out of killing us faster than we get out of killing him faster. So, like, Tempest is bad for us because even though we could kill him faster and he doesn't necessarily get an advantage from, like, a big stage for Puddle, he still, like, can just nair combo us at 80.
I also just think that Rock is important, so I think you don't...
And you can't pull Rock on Forest.
Yeah, you don't want Forest or Tempest
pretty much.
Just because they're so claustrophobic that it's very difficult to pull Rock. But you don't want the biggest.
So what three stages do you want? Against Orcane, 1, 2, 3. Rock Wall.
Yeah, Rock
Armada?
Wall is just good against anyone.
Rock Wall.
I mean, Air Armada because it cuts off a lot of his recovery choices.
Air Armada is kind of, it can be good. I think it's a very volatile stage of the matchup.
It also makes it a lot harder for us because if we ever do have to pillar,
Right.
we can't just like pillarless to wall jump, pillarless back to ledge.
Right.
Yeah.
Pillaring off stage is death.
Yeah, our recovery can get super scuffed there, but on the right side, downward sending moves are a lot more efficient on that stage, because there's less wall for him to tech. Particularly cargo down throw just murders him at like super low percents.
Right. So it's a high aggression stage.
Yeah, very, very, very volatile stage in the matchup.
It's a pickable stage for sure.
So Godai, Jules, and Rock Pillar are kind of like the staples. You guys, is what I'm hearing here.
Yeah.
You guys like Fire Capital?
No,
it's
I'm mixed on Fire
it's,
Capital.
it's
I just feel like
so
it's too big.
It's so
too big.
big.
Yeah, Fire Capital, I would say, depends on who you're playing. Like, do you want to afford having more space to not being able to kill as easily? Like, that's the big problem. If
you're playing against a hard camper, you probably don't want Fire Capital just because
No.
it's going to go to time.
Right.
Yeah, you want-
God, the stage is huge.
Yeah, I actually remember I have a clip of an Orcane player who was trying to time me out on ranked. It was like last game. It was game 3 of the ranked set, and I'm at 180%, and they're at like 100. So they're just trying to it's Fire Capital, and they're just on the top platform, and they're just forward airing, back and forth. Now I up aired them with 0.025 like seconds, and won the match. But
Holy moly.
Dang.
yeah, but I remember that was a crazy clip. But that when you guys were talking about it, it just reminded me of that. But it's definitely like, it's just such a big stage that Orcane, and like he can legitimately just do the forward air between the top lats. And he can be difficult to catch when he's doing that.
Yeah, when you do get camped, we have the mercy of at least we can pull rock and send shards, but it's
Mhm.
at reactable range, it's never a winning game.
Okay. There was a question, Malk. Yeah, I think you got DM'd by Love Parade. I was bringing it up because it's recovery related, so I figured it would maybe we could just add it on.
Sure. What is it?
It's right here. I can just say.
Oh.
It says, should the goal pretty much just be putting huge amounts of percent extending his recovery? If you can do that, yeah, but it's also good if you can, like Guthix was saying earlier, if you can just cargo them and then just
I do feel like
that's a big win.
If you're not confident in your ability to land the cargoes, you can kind of rinse repeat Orcane for a bit. He will eventually make it back, but you can rack up a decent amount of percent, because it's not like his recovery is particularly hard to intercept. It's just that he lives forever and always has the ability to teleport if he has puddle.
So Saint Pat, do you have the you got the questions pulled up, question requests?
I had the Discord. I don't think I have the form.
The Discord that'll work fine.
So up throw. Somebody was asking about up throw, and up throw sucks. Like if you get grabbed by Orcane, you get up throwed, you're gonna get hit by something else. Like most likely, in my eyes, the best thing you can do is try to DI left or right, and then try to just mix up your smash DI with the bubbles, so that they guess wrong afterwards. So it's a guessing game. They either get you with the up air or not, and the bubbles suck. They're just gonna hold you in place. So if you can you don't want to land on a platform. Basically, you want to try to get up and out. So you either DI left and then smash DI up and right, or just try to get full out. You gotta mix it up, and you can't do the same thing every time, or else they're gonna read it. So you have to represent all the options, left and then left, or left and then right, etc.
Did anyone have anything else to add on? Because I don't really. I mean,
Nice.
yeah, I don't really have anything else to add on. So, we got in our question requests, we have a full list of the stuff in the forum too.
Got it.
We got both of those.
Let's see here.
So Guthix, do you want to pull a question?
Let's have a look at the list. Was there anything? There's a few meme ones here. Hang on.
Can love bloom on the battlefield?
No,
Can it? Potentially.
not
Potentially.
between these two.
Yeah.
In some spaces, it's possible. Does rock camping beat puddle camping?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, puddle camping doesn't do anything. Rock camping gives at least some degree of pressure. Let's see.
And
Should
just
you
make
try
sure you're
and-
using shards, just so you're not just getting parried. Really, because really you can. I mean, they can parry shards too, but If you're just throwing shards at them, catching them when they're jumping, and
Yeah.
you throw rock when they they shoot at the puddle, and then the rock will beat it out if they're trying to use it like in neutral. Those are that's just the two things I wanted to add on. But generally, like in the rock versus puddle, 1v1, like you're gonna be, if they're just trying to purely puddle camp, you just rock, you just stand your ground and you just use rock.
Look, back
Is
air is
there
also
any
a
hope?
double
No, it's
eraser. What'd you say, Gothic? Sorry.
There's a question that says, "Is there any hope?" So I just said, "No, it's cooked."
Nah.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over. Here's some good questions on here.
Oh, here's one. What are some bad pillar spots off stage versus Orcane? Where would you recommend I pillar if possible instead? I think I have an answer for that one. Basically, you have to keep your eyes on the Orcane at all times when you're considering where and when you want to place your pillar. If the Orcane is like basically sat right above you, there isn't a right place to pillar, because at any point they're just going to be able to drop down, down air, back throw, or forward throw, depending on which way they're facing, and it's all true, and it kills us. This kills the Kragg.
I'd like to get the big one out of the way. Don't pillar next to wall. That's probably the worst spot. If Orcane's on stage, don't do it. You will die.
If he's ready to drop down, I think you can do it if he's not in a position to drop down and punish immediately. If he can't get you,
it's still very scary.
It's scary, but once you've got your pillar out, you're pretty much good.
Yeah, if I do have to pillar next to wall, I try to do it very low.
Yes, I think in general we want to go as low as we're able to, if we can't just make it straight to ledge, because really we don't want to be pillaring if we can avoid it. The one place that I'll frequently go is just to the very corner. And if they're committed to chasing out with a deep edge guard to the point where they rely on landing on my pillar to survive, you can possibly just even take the stock trade from their SD by not pillaring at all and just letting yourself both die. It's kind of a read though. It's always a scary position to be in. It's always, it's advantage for Orcane. So sometimes you're not going to get the right read. Sometimes you're going to just die, and that's just how it is.
I think generally that, like, to add to your answer, because you're right, it's like nowhere's the right place to pillar with Orcane.
Yeah.
If you have to, it's as far away from the Orcane as possible. Like,
exactly.
As far away from the stage, like in the bubble, is probably going to be the best.
I just like how we're referring to it as the Orcane, like it's like a specimen. Like it's
yeah.
Like Stitch, like an experiment.
Yeah.
Wreaking mayhem.
I personally like high pillar a lot versus Orcane. Because
high pillar's good.
Like going to ledge is a scary game versus Orcane. Just being at ledges. Generally, I try to avoid that as much as possible.
There's some funny interactions that can happen with high pillar. So if you pull a rock on high pillar and the Orcane breaks the pillar, you die because you're on pillar with a rock in hand. Special fall.
I will say that's always a skill issue. That's always
if they break your pillar by forward airing, you can use the bubbles to survive.
Yep.
And this did happen to me today.
Hell yeah.
The forward air pillar interaction, when they just do it before you spawn, it is always scary. That terrifies me every time it happens.
Yeah. You just have to keep your eye really closely on the Orcane itself in order to pick an option.
Yeah.
Right. Really be aware if they like to go deep with those reverse forward airs.
Yeah. And then from there you can just you can just delay up B and then do whatever. Be ready to tech. Just be ready to tech and wall jump and get out of there.
Oh yeah, don't forget the tech of only use pillarless once off stage. After that, after your pillar's gone, you always up B so you don't get locked out of tech.
Yeah.
For anyone who didn't know that already.
I actually was not.
Kind of silly.
I wasn't fully aware of that, but there's like no. I never use like up B like pillarless. I always just do side B pillarless, but I didn't actually.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's not using side B pillarless. Like
Oh, you use up B. You're saying you do use up B pillarless.
You should use it.
yeah, you should because
Right.
side B pillarless will lock you out of tag.
Side B also got the extra 5 frames of startup, whereas up B did not.
You can use side special 2 tech if you expect them to hit you at ledge. If you haven't already pillarless, you can pillarless to the ledge or to the wall, and then when they hit you, just keep holding the shield, and you'll automatically tech, and then you can get a reversal off that.
Yeah, because that was what I was thinking of. Is like sometimes when they come down and they start, trying to hit me, I'll like side B and then I'll tech out of it and like get back on the.
Another point about
Okay.
pillaring to wall as well is if you do have to pillar to wall and they do down air you, I'm pretty sure there is a window where you can SDI into the wall and tech. And if you can do that instantly, up being will put them in special fall and you above them, and you can then double jump wall jump up B.
In the chat, Coinfish has asked, how would you recover if you can't use pillar? So, you have a bunch of tools in Kragg's toolbox, right? You have side B stalls, you have the block like down throw if you were able to pillar and get a block, right? But let's say you can't pillar. So you have side B stall, you probably want to use side B to try to get to the wall. And then you have your double jump, you have your air dodge, and you have your wall jump, right? So the best thing you can possibly do is get to the wall and preserve your double jump. If you can do that, you have a lot of mix-ups. If you can't do that, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard time, right? But that's
You want to be able to hit the Orcane if they want to hold ledge, because then you can get your extra wall jump as well from that.
Yeah. So if you can wall jump back air them, because it turns into a mix-up, right? So if you have your double jump, and you can get in position to wall jump back air them if they're holding ledge, like you have so many options. As if you have your double. If you don't have your double jump, it turns into kind of a 50-50 of like, are you gonna back air or are you gonna up B back to ledge, back to stage? And now we're getting a little bit like specific, but like you gotta really like think about your resources and how to mix them up, and use those side B stalls and side B to tank stuff.
I'm learning. I'm learning stuff about the up B. I just wanted to double check what we were saying earlier about the up B pillarless. So is it the tech window on up B pillarless? You can tech more for it.
So when you press shield at any point, it doesn't matter if it's like during another action, you get locked out of tech, and that includes also Z or down B flip, but it includes pillarless when you don't have pillar out, like side B pillarless.
Oh, so you're saying basically what's good about it is you can up B pillarless and then you can tech later when you have to.
You don't
where side. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
It's always a read on when they're going to attack, though.
Yeah, because what I was thinking about earlier is like sometimes if I know that they're going to come down and they're going to nair or something, I'll wait to side B, then I'll side B into the wall, and I'll basically just line that tech input up where it's like I'm side Bing and then I'm also teching. So where if I don't get hit, I'm still side Bing, so I'm still going to like try and wall jump, but then I'll also time it. So it's like I'm kind of like, I guess like option selecting it would be the way to put
Sometimes
it.
you can get that. You can get the where you do the side B cancel and then they hit you soon enough and you also get the tech.
Yeah.
That is very nice, right? But if you're like away from the wall and you're side B canceling, you'd rather up B cancel. Does anybody know what the lockout? I think it's a half a second.
20 frames, I think.
It's
right?
20 frames? Okay.
Well, the window is 20 frames, I'm pretty sure, right? I don't know how long the lockout period is.
I wonder what the lockout window is.
Yeah, I've also been curious about what the tech lockout period is because that's important
40 frames or
info to
something.
know. That's
40?
important info to know for down throw stuff.
I'm gonna go
Or
on the
harder
wiki because
down
I don't
throw.
actually know, and I've been curious myself.
The nice
But
thing
yeah,
is
because
that-
you want to... you want to be able to stall your cargo throw down throws like enough, but not too much.
Yeah, there's multiple timings of when you. I've just been curious how many timings there are, for teching cargo down throw when
Yeah.
you're right off the ground.
So I think another just general broad thing that's good against Orcane and general just good for Kragg in general is making people scared of your aerials so they hold shield and then mixing it up with cargo grabs in
Oh, yeah,
neutral.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's bread and butter.
highly
baby.
underutilized. Like I think by a lot of Krags. Like everybody knows cargo grab is good and everybody knows a grab
Oh,
on
yeah.
shield is amazing, but like just
I
learning how to condition somebody that way is really important for Kragg, I think.
I definitely think it's something not enough Krags do. I think
Right. So I wanted to mention it.
I think myself and Little Boy are probably two of the people who do cargo
That's
the
what I'm
most.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love it.
I've been doing it a lot more lately and it feels
yeah,
good.
Bro, hitting
'Cause-
when you're on the
even,
plat.
like,
Or yeah, you go.
even someone like Zeus, who like utilizes cargo a lot in their punish game, doesn't do it as much in neutral.
Dude,
Right.
when you're on that platform and you drop to the plat and you reverse, like you be reverse cargo, that just feels like the nastiest
man.
thing in the entire universe.
You're the only person I've seen do that.
I do
Love
it, and
it.
it's so good because it's like then you
Okay,
don't
I found
know. You don't know what you're gonna do.
It was really funny because like
All right,
before
Guthics has presented information.
Yeah, I posted it in
Daniel.
the conference chat, but it's basically 40 frame lockout.
It's a 40. Okay.
Okay.
If a character, so once a tech input is made, landing from a heavy hit within the next 20 frames will instead cause a tech. However, if the character does not tech within then the next 20 frames, they are locked out from teching for the next sub 20 frames after that. After these 40 frames are up, the character can attempt to tech again.
All right.
If a tech input is done during hit pause, it automatically locks the character out from teching for 20 frames. The character can attempt to tech again after 20 frames. So yeah, you have to hold shield in the 20 frame window before you get hit, basically.
Yeah,
And then
so you
you
get a
can-
20 frame buffer for tech essentially.
Yeah.
And then after that 20 frames is up, it adds 20 frames of cooldown. So 40 frames total. From the initial button press.
It's weird and complicated.
But it could feel like less than 40 frames because it could be less than 40 frames since the tech was missed, if that could be like 21 frames since the tech was missed.
Yeah, if you like skim the
Yep.
window
Yeah.
or something.
So it's weird. But
Yeah. So, yeah, we were talking about cargo, and
love it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. No, but seriously, like, it's really good off plats, and also just like for anyone watching, like, if you're looking for like stuff to do in training mode, try and learn, like, make sure you know how to do wave bounce cargo.
Mhm.
Wave bounce cargo and like just all the cargos, the B reverse, the what do you
Yep.
call it? What do you call it when you don't reverse your momentum
You
but you
turn around.
B
turnaround.
turnaround? Yeah, B turnaround.
Turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I highly recommend you get used to using either air parry or air grab.
Air
for
parry.
cargo.
I use air grab personally.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
I think-
I mean, it makes sense.
I've just been YOLOing and I just use the button, but is it actually better?
It's
I-
much easier
yes,
if you use
so-
binding, yeah.
The reason is because you can't ever get side beat out of doing it. So if you want to do a beat turnaround, you can just hold left or right and press air parry or grab.
Yeah,
and
you can maintain full momentum,
It's very
not have to let go forward.
It's very, very good. The trade-off is that if you want to do, if you have it on grab, it makes it harder to do out of like a short hop. Like harder to do an instant cargo. out of
Right.
Dump. Versus if you set it to air parry, you don't have that problem.
I
but
like
that
to do
does
my
mean-
short hop
that-
nairs.
that does mean you lose access to full drift nair.
Yeah.
Out of shield, which is very good.
So
I think full drift nair is personally more important.
I think it's a worthwhile trade-off.
Yeah. So I have my air parry to be nair.
like what I so really, I haven't actually messed with using my. I probably should. I just kind of do everything with the buttons, and I don't really use my bumpers for air stuff.
Oh yeah, it's
That's kind
it's
of. I've just always been, but I probably like. I kind of was, like talking with people on Twitter and stuff that telling me like people were talking about their controls and stuff, and it's like, oh, I use this button and get full drift on nairs or full drift on this or that, and that's something I've always just like I just use my face buttons. But something I did set up, and I kind of messed with it for a little bit, and then I kind of went back to doing it where I just use my face buttons. But something that I was kind of interested in doing was where I use like an Xbox controller. So on the right trigger, is like my shield button, and that's what I use for all of my shielding, like for wave dashing, for all my movement, air dodging, like everything. And then I put the cargo button, like the air neutral B, below that on the bumper below. So it was like if I wanted to cargo someone directly below me, I could shield drop and I could roll my like pointer finger back and like go from trigger to bumper and kind of pull it back and do it in one motion, like so drop the shield and then start grabbing and start the cargo.
That's fun.
So that's something like I said, I know it's probably not technically optimal, but I've always just used my face buttons for everything.
I just use my middle finger for my triggers and my index fingers or pointer fingers for my bumpers personally. Always have done.
So you use two fingers like on your you have a finger on the trigger and the bumper at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good for your
I always
fingers.
have done.
yeah. I play hybrid claw, so
I just dude, I'm just a normie. Like I just play like with a regular grip. Like I don't do any fancy things. I don't use
do not want to see my controller grip. I call it
Me
lobster
too, yeah.
grip. It's a double claw.
I switch grips when I'm when I'm in a combo because I usually usually what I do is I just hold or just like a regular grip, so I have like my two thumbs on the controller and I've got one on the stick and one on the face buttons. But then usually if I land an up air, I switch to claw and then you do up airs with my stick so that I get more drift. That's kind of
Interesting.
That's hybrid claw.
Okay, so hybrid claw. Okay, then I play with hybrid claw. Then I play with
hybrid claw is when you have like a normal grip otherwise, but swap to claw.
Oh, okay. So I do play with a lobster grip.
You hybrid claw sometimes too.
I
Yeah,
do play
most-
hybrid claw.
Okay, you actually play with an incredibly niche play style.
No, lobster
You
grip.
thought you were
is,
normal.
Lobster grip is when you claw the left stick also, which is what I.
Oh, I do not claw. Why would you do? What's the what is it?
Okay,
You use
so-
your index finger for the left stick.
It does have ergonomic benefits. However, that's not why I do it. That's just how I naturally hold my controller.
Ugh, I'm trying it right now.
Yeah. Just a funny little side story. I didn't know I did that until someone was like at a local was like, "Why do you hold your controller like that?" And I
You thought it was
looked
normal.
Dude.
No, I didn't even know I did it. It wasn't that I thought it was normal. It's just it's an entirely subconscious thing.
That's funny.
It is at least on GameCube controller better. It gives you better control over your stick, and it is
Yeah.
something that is in theory optimal.
Nah, I do the completely normal, like the index finger for both my shoulders, like thumbs where they should be.
Yeah,
Vanilla.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I've never been like I never wanted to do like the two fingers where you take your middle fingers on the triggers and then your pointer fingers on the bumpers because you use the trigger for so much. Like you use it for all of your wave dash movement, all of your shielding. So I kind of liked having my pointer finger on that just because of how important that is. So yeah, I kind of want to start doing like that thing I was talking about earlier where I roll my fingers. I roll my index fingers from trigger to bumper. because you can do that on the Xbox. I think that'd probably be might be harder to do on the GameCube because of the way it's shaped. Like it's kind of the triggers are like concave, right? Like they kind of
Right.
yeah. So that'd probably be a lot harder to do. The nice thing about the Xbox is like it kind of just slopes. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
you can
Pro tip for all the GameCube controller users out there: invest in ergonomic triggers. You will be eternally grateful. It is astounding what the shape of the trigger does to
Okay.
fix. Yeah, I stopped having hand pain entirely after I switched to ergo triggers.
Oh, interesting. I did just start having some hand pain, unfortunately.
Yeah, my recommendation is Handheld Legends sells a set of ball buttons plus ergo triggers. And while the ball buttons are not particularly great,
Right.
the ergo triggers are great.
Great.
yeah,
I'll check those out.
yeah. I just
Are they just rounded? Rather than like what are they? How are they ergonomic?
So the thing about GameCube controller triggers is that they like cup your finger. Like
Right.
you'll notice. That does not happen on the ergo triggers. It's just completely like not flat, but like your finger
Right.
just slides across it.
That's nice.
And that's apparently the point of failure on the entire controller.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just use a default Xbox controller, like one of the ones for the new console.
Mhm.
I like the layout of just like the Xbox. Like I don't have like a particular preference, but I definitely prefer like the face buttons where it's the Xbox style versus like the Pro controller style versus the GameCube style. But I wish it had notches on it, but I'm very glad that Rivals 2 is very lenient about diagonal stuff because it doesn't have any notches on it. So I would not want to play Melee on it, but it works fine for Rivals 2 because the game's pretty lenient.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, we went
We deviated.
far. We deviated very far.
We sidetracked a lot.
Because it was originally a conversation about cargo, and then it got into like the whole thing of like how you do cargo and stuff.
I think that's important
Cargo
though,
movement. Yeah, no.
because like
I think,
sometimes
look.
a lot of the time people are trying to get better, and higher up players just tell them do this. But getting into the specifics of like how to do things and like how you think about how to do things is all like really useful to at least somebody.
Oh yeah. You takeaway. It's definitely worthwhile to invest in air parry and air grab if you're not already
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah,
And
no.
like I will say, once I got my first fob, I felt like my tech skill improved dramatically.
That's funny. Fobs for me, as a fob owner, I don't feel like they do anything specific for me. It's just peace of mind. I know my controller isn't messing up.
Well, that could be it. It could just be the fact that like I was using an older controller that I thought was working just fine, but the sticks were a little bit loose, and the triggers were a little bit worn.
You get yourself a good fob and you're set for life.
Oh yeah, the magnetic sticks just feel so nice.
But yeah, no. I was just gonna add on, or I was just gonna say like, yeah, this is like it's an Orcane episode, but like really, I mean, we're just here to talk about Kragg and just like whatever
Yeah, I mean,
conversation
it's
comes up.
the, it's,
So
the,
I'm not.
it's the first one of these. It's good to establish a precedent of.
And also, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to really worry too much about like sticking to the theme because it's just about just being able to conversate about the character and just being
Right
able
on.
to just
Little
being
train
able
of
to
thought is
share
always
some
good.
information. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we were talking about cargo. We were talking about investing in a bumper. So I was just gonna add on, just kind of reeling it back. I was gonna add on when we were talking about cargo that cargo is really good out of like jump where you can where like if you're in like if you full hop above them. Kragg is really scary vertically because he can pressure with cargo and he can pressure with aerials, and he falls really fast. so he can, so like a character like Lox goes up and then it takes him a while to come down. Kragg can come down very fast. And
Another reason you need that air parry cargo, because you can input fast fall and cargo grab at the same time.
You can fast fall. I guess not at the exact same time. You have to.
Yeah,
reset.
it's just another degree of tolerance. You're not going to accidentally get side B, or if you try to do the turnaround or down B.
Yep. All right. So we'll it says we could hit a couple more questions, and I think I will call it after we do a couple more questions because I do not have a way to set up the VOD review. We will set that up for the next time. I will have this more well thought out, and I will have like a thing we can pull up to look at footage, but we'll just for now we just won't worry about that. But the nice thing is that some of those we'll do a different character. I don't know if we'll do like Edalus or we'll figure something out. But we'll look so for the next episode we'll try looking at some footage. But I'd say we just do a couple more questions and we can wrap up. So did everyone got a chance to pull a question, right? Like that they wanted to bring up?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, so I guess we'll go back and I'll pick something. Just looking through the list. We kind of have touched on a lot of stuff, but we definitely talked a lot about just like the offstage game and the theory, the offstage theory against him.
I think what might be good to do right now would be to like kind of try to summarize the points we've made about the Orcane matchup.
All right, yeah, okay, that'd be good. So, I guess like, should each of us like give our own summary, or should we kind of all pitch in?
Maybe we could all give a little takeaway of what we all took from this conversation.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
I know none of us were taking notes or anything, but
yeah, I know I didn't take notes, but I definitely like learned like a fair amount, just like thinking about like, what you do against like the whole cargo down throw thing. I saw, like, the Guthex clip about like the cargo down throw stuff, but I wasn't sure about the theory behind it, so I learned about the 7 frames. Oh, I was going to add on, Guthex added this on earlier, like in our conversation where we were writing down notes. So the Orcane side B, we were talking about that earlier, you cargo down throw it. The hitbox does not come out until he's vulnerable for 7 frames. So 7 frame window to grab him.
right.
And the reason why you grab him is because he doesn't get to tech if you grab him and then you down throw versus if you like forward air him, which, like I said, I was not really taking advantage of that. I found myself usually just forward airing and then like just letting them tech and then do whatever, because normally I would just stay on stage and then I would forward air because it's so active. Wasn't originally using cargo. Now I know, that's actually probably a really good thing to use. So we got one recommendation from the chat here, which is to say one thing about neutral advantage and disadvantage. So, my summary, basically, for this character is, in neutral, I'd say you want to use rock, you want to force your Orcane to be able to want to have to, like, come in and deal with you. You beat him in puddle, like camping, you beat him in like super long range interactions because you can just shard and rock him. So you want to use rock to be able to aid you. You don't want to put yourself in as much pure scrapping as... So there's some characters where they deal with rock so well, like a character like Maple, where you kind of want to scrap with Maple more. But Orcane's character, you definitely want to be using the rock so you can avoid just getting into a pure scrap fest because the character's really good at scrapping. It's one of the character's biggest strengths. One thing about advantage I already added on the thing. I said the thing about Guthix, the cargo. The cargo on their side B, the vulnerability on that, and then one thing about disadvantage. Yeah, just knowing there's not 100% a right place to up B, but I think the thing I would just pitch in is like what I like to do is if I'm hugging the wall and then Orcane is coming down like trying to hit me with an aerial, I'll side B, or I'm not sure what they're gonna do. Like I don't know what if they're gonna come down, they're gonna hit me with an aerial. If they're not gonna hit me with an aerial, I'll try and wait if they're coming down. If you have the opportunity, you can side B, and then you can delay your side B so that it covers the tech window at the same time, so that if they don't hit you for whatever reason, like if they decide to just like pop back up, like if they kind of like nair and then they like pop and then they pop back up and they don't actually hit you, you're still side Bing, you're still doing your regular recovery, and then if they do hit you, then you tech reversal out of it and you just wall jump, use your invincibility and you get back on stage. So I guess we'll just rotate. So Guthix, you can go. Hello.
Guthix, you there?
All right, we already lost him. We lost.
He's out.
Orcane got him. So we're gonna rotate. All right. So Malk.
So for neutral, I think, like I said, I like to play mid range against Orcane, play outside of puddle range, like droplet range rather. You're not audible.
You're not
Guthix.
audible right
Nope.
now.
It's I don't know really how to summarize it, because I don't know if I'm the best at the matchup, but it is I like to play mid range, play around droplet. That is, I think, one of the things that can give that Orcane can do to make it. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over myself. I'm trying to think. Droplet is one of the things that makes that I think a lot of Orcanes like to play around the most. I personally, I know St. Pat disagrees with me. I don't think. I think it's hard to play the scrapping game with Orcane, so I try not to be in that position as much unless I'm like directly punishing. I think also playing diagonals is
Testing.
very.
Okay, he's back. He's back.
Okay, you can hear me now. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right,
I-
continue with your thing. I'll give my monologue again.
I also think that playing diagonals is very good versus Orcane. Orcane's not super great at contesting
Diagonals.
diagonally above him. Coming in with like a fair from like 45 degrees away from him or a bear, and mixing in tomahawks with that, I think is really good. And then utilizing rock as much as possible to beat like droplets and generally giving him hell at like a range distance. For punish, I think cargo you could say this about a lot of matchups, so I think it's also very true against Orcane in particular. I think cargo is very massive in the matchup. Not just cargo down throw, but Orcane in general is just it's really easy to combo into cargo from like an up air. He's like a perfect fall speed for it. He's pretty wide, so it's not particularly hard to get. So I think cargo is something you should look for. I like to look for a lot in the matchup. Maybe more so than most matchups. I think it's very consistent to get, and it does a lot for us in the matchup. Like even outside of just cargo down throw, doing like cargo neutral toss at the ledge and like down being or fairing off it is a pretty good mix-up. Obviously, you know, like every character, we get a lot off cargo down throw on stage. But that's generally one of my big win cons against Orcane, is land as many cargoes as you can. For disadvantage, I think that I try to generally recover high, I try to avoid the ledge as much as I can. When I am going to ledge, I try to like if I'm below the stage, I try to squeeze in between Orcane doing his like ledge drop nairs or bears. Like I generally time it for right after he goes for like a drop from ledge do something, or right as he's about to grab ledge. I just try to be very tricky with when I do have to grab ledge, when I do it, catching him between when he's committing to something off ledge. That's about all I have to say.
All right. So, Gothix, you got anything you want to add on?
Yeah. So be really creative in advantage and disadvantage. Don't do the same thing a whole bunch. You've got to mix up when you're recovering. Always make sure that you either go to ledge as fast as you can or go as far away from ledge as you can. Watch the Orcane to make sure that you have a spot to recover. If they chase you all the way out, don't be afraid of kamikazing with them. When edge guarding Orcane, we get a lot of mileage off of spikes. We can combo into spikes with weak back air. So our back air is kind of disgusting in general. So this is a general tip for like I guess all matchups. Yeah, there's a lot we can do. Hit the lab, experiment. Don't be afraid to pressure them, I guess. Make it uncomfortable.
All right. Was that all you had to say?
Unless people have specific questions about things that I have to say, then
I gotta wrap.
it's hard to summarize beyond just like outplay the opponent.
Yeah, we're
Because it's at the end of the day we're fighting humans.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep mine real short.
All right.
Are you good, Gothix? We good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think what Gothix said at the end is kind of like the most poignant thing. I think this is a fundamentals matchup, really, at the end of the day. Like, if you play better than the Orcane, you're going to win, and if you play worse, you're going to lose. And that's not the point of this conference, right? There's a couple of, like, things you can do, like the cargo throw edge guard, right? Recognizing that, like, I was picking the wrong stages. I don't want to pick the stages with the shallow sides for the most part, except for the rock wall, right? Or the small stages. I was like thinking, oh, small stages, I can cover pillar or the puddle on recovery.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Right. So it's like, but I'm trading one advantage for a bigger disadvantage. So like,
yeah,
I think this is a good reason why it's good to like talk things out with other people. Honestly, is because like I was picking the wrong stages, so now I'm gonna go pick those stages and see how it works out, right? But yeah, the cargo throw at the edge when you're in advantage is really what I'm going to try to do more, and like not just doing it from the ledge, but doing like a drop off turnaround can help too, get them further away from the wall. I do those sometimes and they're a lot harder to land, but they're really nice. And then just trying to use block when you're in like stage control neutral a little bit better, like be a little bit more of a campy bitch.
We can use wall to extend our edge guard a lot as well.
Yeah,
wall jumps are crazy in advantage
for sure. Wall jump down airs, wall jump back airs.
I really love wall jump back air.
Yeah, wall
it
jump
just
back
sets
airs.
us up for like so many strings. And if they DI away, then it puts us in a great position to cover them coming back to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I only have like about an hour. I only have like about an hour and a half, so I gotta
Right
go pretty soon. But it timed out. It actually timed out like really well. So
Cool.
yeah, I think we'll go ahead and wrap out now. So we all gave our summary. So that was the Orcane episode, and we'll probably come back. I don't know, maybe in a month or something. We'll figure something out. But for now, hope you have a good day. We're probably going to upload this to YouTube somewhere. We'll get that all figured out. But I definitely really enjoyed this. Like, I thought this was very
It was
cool.
fun.
So yeah,
Nice chatting with you guys.
we'll try to get another one going. We'll try to get a little bit better run. Like, I kind of forgot it was today and was setting stuff up last minute. So
It's been coming up for a while.
yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I'll see ya. We'll end it there. Bye.
All right, guys, that was fun. Yeah, I got to get going too, but
Yeah, I gotta eat
looking
dinner.
forward to the next one.